lots happening in Manitoba politics. Manitoba, while it's frozen, has become a bit of a political hot potato for the Conservatives based on some of the coverage we're seeing in the ungodly CBC.
Oh, not just CBC. CTV, I think, hopped on the same bandwagon. And the Free Press ran a story that I think was a Canadian Press byline that, again, focused on the grievances of people who've been relocated on an emergency basis from the Interlake region of Manitoba. They've been hustled down to Winnipeg because of absolute power loss in numerous communities. There's, I know there was a grouping of 6 communities in particular, including places like, I think it was Lake Manitoba Reserve in Little Saskatchewan, that had been previously evacuated. I was probably like 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. So these people in these communities have already been through a lot. They are being shuffled around in Winnipeg, on a very ad hoc basis. And for some reason, the Scheer campaign showing up in a not spur of the moment, part of their itinerary, showing up at a hotel where some of them were lodged and being dislodged, being moved to, more, how should I put this, places where they are planned to stay for a longer period of time, at least initially, like a week or whatever, till they move them out of shelters. And they start belly aching like Scheer should, pick up a sandbag or whatever. And it's just beyond ludicrous, the kind of criticism where, and I would say this in defense of Jagmeet Singh or any other campaign, even Justin Trudeau, that showed up in a scheduled matter, and they're taking advantage of the national press. The state of emergency, this is not a catastrophe in the realm of natural disasters that we see across the world. There are certainly numerous communities that are without power here and went down for days on end. But there was no humanitarian crisis. There was not people, being swept away in floodwaters, people being buried in snowbanks or anything of the sort. But you hear the term, state of emergency, and automatically politicians that are going about the usual business of elections are suddenly subject to criticism, surely for one reason, because of the color of their ballot, so to speak. It's just disgusting that the mainstream media, and I understand how these people are aggrieved, but the shuffling from the Radisson Hotel where the Scheer campaign appeared to wherever else they went next, and I've seen the individual in question was interviewed on CTV News or their news channel or whatever. They're being shuffled around, not even by the Emergency Measures Organization of Manitoba, which had been my first supposition. They've been shuffled around by, in some cases, like the Interlake Tribal Council, by their own regional government is I guess, working with the MO in Winnipeg. So everything's in a state of flux, but somehow it becomes Scheer's fault.
That's an excerpt from my weekly show, The Gun Show. It's an interview-based show that I do every Wednesday night, where I talk to conservative journalists, filmmakers, activists, even citizen newsmakers. However, the show is only available to our premium subscribers, but it's easy enough to subscribe. Just go to premium.rebelnews.com.